let's just get right into it, guys. In today's topic, we're talking about the social differences between the Gen X versus the Millennials. Like, who am I talking about? The Gen X being Ama2000 and the Millennials being us, the babies born in the 80s and early 90s. I want us to break down what is this difference between these two generations. We've seen the outpour of Ama2000 being branded as this lost generation, the generation that doesn't care about what people went through in the struggle and all of that stuff. So I just want us to just, open up this discussion and discuss if there is really a difference between the two generation, and if there is, what is it, and how can we come together to make sure that we move forward, because it's a big deal. And I've had a few discussions with Ama2000 who they also feel very pressured and very under pressure with how the society views them and brands them, and this has led to them committing suicide cases and things that are really not necessarily, because they're living in a different era that has a lot of pressure that comes with them. So us being the millennials, we are sort of like their aunties, their sisters, the uncles and brothers. So we need to find a better way to engage with one another, especially if we want to find a better understanding. So I'm with my producer in studio today, and I'm going to bring him into this topic. I want to hear his views on what he thinks about this whole topic. So what do you think, Banele? Are you a Generation X or are you a millennium?
Sorry, millennium or millennial?
Millennial. Yeah.
Okay.
Millennial. Sorry about that.
Millennium.
Yeah, I need to tell I want a millennial. That's why we've been a difference, because some other people thought the millennial generation is Ama2000, because the 2000 era is referred to as the millennium era. So there could be a bit of a problem there, but we're talking about the millennials, which is the 80s babies and the early 90s. So I want to know if
I'm happy to say I was born in the best time in history, which is the 80s.
Wow.
Everything, including music. 80s music is the best, yes.
Yeah, and these are and this is exactly why we think, and this is exactly why Ama2000 think Tinama 80s we are superior, because we always want to refer to the 90s music, we always want to refer to pre-internet days, we want to refer to how life used to be so simple back then. But they don't know this, they were not there yet. They have this experience that they have today, and we want to hear what is their experience and why do they think they're always being attacked like that. Like, what do you think, Banele?
I don't see Ama2000 and first of all, do you think Masita Ama2000 is that term derogatory? That's Abatuga.
I think it is
a negative connotation.
Yeah,
right?
It does have a negative connotation, because anybody that says Ama2000, it's followed by something that's not really positive.
No, but I mean, if we say you're an 80s kid, it's the same thing as saying Umdano 2000. So I see it the same way, like, this is a 90s kid. Oh, Lord, 2000.
Oh, you're just referring to the age that the person was born.
Yeah. But anyway, I think these things don't really matter. For example, I think it has to do with the exposure. So Ama2000s are more exposed, right? Mm-hmm. And the 80s kid, they were not really exposed, because we are only exposed manje to izinto. And as a result, Tina Sangati Sikule is slow, but it's not because we grew up slow, it's just that we were not exposed. Mm-hmm. So for example, Manji, a kid with a smartphone, at what age, at what age were you exposed to explicit images? I don't want to say the word, but at what age were you exposed to, dizzy explicit?
Let me see. I was still a teenager, I'm going to be honest. Probably 18, 19. I was old. Yeah.
You're old, but
I'm a late bloomer.
But also in that case, it wasn't a case of it's readily available.
Yes.
You just saw a magazine once or twice, right?
Yeah.
But now, think about it, like a kid who's got a smartphone, what are the chances of them being exposed to explicit content?
Yeah, the chances are at 100%.
And they can also consume this in the comfort of their own room if they don't have a room, but bangatoli corner somewhere, right? So I think the difference is exposure. So I think give umntana waga 1980 the same exposure to the internet. Give our parents, baby boomers, access to the internet. I think those are one of the same,
You get the same results. Yeah.
That's my thinking.
I hear you, and that makes a lot of sense because we didn't have internet. I mean, we came in, our first exposure to the internet was like, those mix-it days where we used to chat to strangers online. It used to be a very interesting thing. And we've experienced the pre-internet phase where sidlalile strateni, sadlali ngeto, and all these games that these kids don't play in today because they have other things that are interesting their time.
Yeah, like PlayStation, why should they be
playing umgusha estrateni?
Yeah.
But let me tell you something.
They've got that option, they've got that choice.
Let me bring in something here, but maybe I'll be going off track here. But I'm just saying, I think it was an advantage for us that didn't have internet and things that will take our time just sitting and looking at Into One all the time. We were exposed to playing, running, everything. And I think that's why you can look at our generation today. We actually don't look our age. And this has been proven over and over. I'm not saying it's a fact, but I'm just saying the generation that comes after us, they didn't have a lot of activities that required them to be active, even with the food that they're exposed to.
I was about to say, the difference is that when you were 16, when you were 16, you probably weren't eating fast food.
I wasn't.
Exactly.
I wasn't. Besides the fries and the fat cooks that were sold by auntie down the road.
Yes,
I didn't have McDonald's.
Fast foods. But now the difference is that these kids are exposed to that.
Yeah.
Right?
So
by exposure, here's what I mean.
Yeah.
When you wanted to withdraw money, when you first started working, where would you go to withdraw money?
To the bank.
Where?
Inside.
Where?
At the mall.
Which mall?
In town.
In town. you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In town. So you would have to travel.
Yeah.
But nowadays, if you want to...
I'm saying these days you can
transact on your phone.
On your phone, yeah.
Right? But let's just say you had to go to a bank, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, would you literally walk to a bank from your home?
I would Uber.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you would get, Tina, the millennials or our parents, baby boomers, but we're lazy, we don't want to walk. But there's an option to Uber. Right?
Yeah.
So you go to the bank and you don't have to go to town.
Yeah.
If you want fast food back then, KFC or whatever it is, you would have to travel to get it. But now you order it and they bring it to you.
To my house, yeah. So I see there's more access.
There's more access
to opportunities, and it doesn't require a lot of hard labor, a lot of struggle to do it. Even with our parents, I think we had it better because we had access to private schools and things like that, which they didn't have. So I feel like even with the alpha generation that comes after the Gen X, it's gonna be like they're gonna even have something to complain about regarding the alphas, because now the access would be like they be living in a virtual world.
So I'm an alpha from which year?
So alpha is from 2010 upwards. So those are the kids that were born from 2010 to now. That's the alpha generations. So these are the ones that when a 1-year-old already touches a phone, they know how to go to YouTube. They know how to how to navigate the phone. So we're getting more and more.
Yeah, because my nephews and niece, ne?
Yeah.
Because mostly like my Bambi phone, they know exactly where to go.
Yeah.
They know who to touch screen. I mean, they even touch a TV, thinking who to touch screen.
Yes.
So I don't think there is a huge difference. I don't know if maybe we could talk about the parenting styles, but as far as the exposure is concerned, I think maybe parenting is different.
Yeah.
Compared to before.
Yeah.
Right? But Nami, I do say to give 60s, like 1960, the same exposure, social media, we would hear all of these scandals, which we do hear them, by the way. Like if you watch my reality shows, whatnot, you get to find out these people had
They
scandals.
were living the most, yeah. I actually think their scandals were actually over the top. It's just that they were not exposed
They were not
to
exposed.
everybody to witness.
So talk to me about parenting. What do you think?
You're right when you say we've got different parenting skills, especially like why I wanted us to talk about this generation. There isn't so much of a gap between the millennials and the Gen X because they come exactly just from 1996 all the way to 2009. So there isn't a lot of differences. But now we are the parents now in this era. The millennials are now the parents to the 2000s. Who are like 10, 9, 12 now. My son is a Gen X and he's 12. So we allow them. I used to get beat up if I could go the whole day without eating or without bathing. And if my child goes out the whole day, he doesn't get the same treatment. I'll actually maybe take his tablet for a couple of hours. And if I do that, I know that the next day he will definitely come on time because he doesn't want to lose his internet time. So that's the way I think that's the difference that comes to parenting this kind of generation. It's just understanding where they are currently and how things are working out for them, and just us adapting to that change that we're experiencing, because there's no way I can raise my child like my mom raised me. It doesn't make sense.
Where and how does it not make sense?
I mean, if we look back,
Yeah.
us as the millennials, what we used to experience from our parents with what they refer to as discipline, today can be branded as abuse. Because, I can make an example about myself. There was a time where I went to a hip-hop concert because I grew up loving hip-hop. And I was told to come back home on time, like at 8 o'clock, and that's when the concert was actually getting hot. And I made a decision that day to say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to go the next day. I'll take whatever that they give me. I knew already that maybe my mom would give me a bit of a slap here and there. But when I got home, I got all 4 of my uncles waiting for me with her, and she excused herself and left me with all my uncles who all had whips, and they beat me up like they were beating a slave that slept with a white lady. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but it was abusive. There was no need for them to hit a girl child like that. If they wanted to just discipline me, to tell me, okay, it's not safe for you to go out the whole night because these and this are the disadvantage. I feel like as a parent, that's how I want to talk to my child. I want to show them why I'm saying don't come back after this time. What are the reasons to say if you go out as a woman 8 o'clock until the next day, you could get stolen. There are people, there are things. So you can give a person the disadvantages of why they should be doing what they're doing, and then they make the decision. But beating them up like senseless only creates stubbornness. And
beating them up, ne? Or
Yeah.
administering discipline.
That was beating us up.
That was beating up. Okay. So you're a mother now,
Yeah.
right? And you went out
Yes.
to a concert.
Yeah.
Did you have a cell phone?
I didn't have a cell phone.
Okay. I want you to imagine your son, your daughter goes out. You can't communicate with them as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know their whereabouts.
Yeah.
Will you sleep that night?
I will not sleep at all.
Okay. You know what the problem is? I get to understand things just a little bit later on in life, why certain things happened or why they reacted a certain way.
Yeah.
That's because I've never, ever been in their shoes before. But now that I'm stepping into their shoes as a parent,
Yeah.
it's only now that I understand that when a child, because my mom used to say, Mo figile, please say.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about right now, like in their phone.
Yes.
Bash uthi mo figure safe, please tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Gim, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm saying, imagine your son, daughter goes out. No phone, nothing. Your mom, clearly, she's got no one else to call. Or mhlambe ufonile wabuza ukuthi hey khona kabophinde bathi ayisimcela ekseni.
Yeah.
So she's
It's a
restless.
panic right there.
It's a panic.
Yeah. And by the time you come back, it's the fear of being afraid of not knowing what happened to you, and the fear builds up into this frustration where they just want to beat you up. There is no other way where they can just talk about they're afraid. They were so stressed out that you were not at home. They couldn't even have time to talk to you about that. They just had to beat you to show you how they felt, which still doesn't make sense to me.
So now what would you do? And remember, you went out, ne? Did you stop?
Did I stop going out after I got beaten? I stopped not telling the truth. I told the truth from then on where I was going and when I'll come back.
And how old were you then?
I was still a teenager, like 18, 17.
Right. Cool. So fast forward.
Another thing about me, I wasn't that child that was like always needed to be disciplined and whatnot. I was very like laid back and chilled back. And it's only when I discovered hip hop that wanted me to go out there and experience more, because I wasn't aware that there was another life that spoke to me the way it did. And when I explained it later on to my mom, that's when she understood what kept me getting out of the house and going to these clubs. Thank God there was a club called Lee Club, and it was a club that ebengena ngo 1 p.m. Iphume ngo 6 p.m. and that's it. Can you imagine a club during the day? It was so awesome.
You see, so I think we don't understand up until we are in their shoes.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, topic for another day, I suppose. But
yeah, parenting.
I guess I was trying to tell you that, or trying to portray that, yes, sorry you got beaten up, ne? But try and understand it from her position.
Yeah.
Because when you fast forward, especially Manje, I know she was panicking back then, but think about it right now. Young girls are being kidnapped, they're being murdered. So imagine as a mother to a daughter that went out, didn't tell you, you cannot get hold of her. Think about that stress.
The anxiety is above, is beyond.
Right.
Yeah.
So if okay, this is a message to Ama2000. If you think it doesn't matter, wait up until you become a parent.
Yeah, because I mean, because all of us have gone through that stage of being a teenager, and most of them, they're only now being in like 20, they're in the 24, but 24. The oldest with the GenX is probably 25. And they're still figuring themselves out and they're still learning. So what I'm just saying, Guti, there shouldn't be such a big difference to a point where we can't relate anymore, because we are from that generation where we're raised by our grandparents. Most of us, our fathers were non-existent to anything else. So that also contributes to how we engage with the ones that are coming after us. And I just want those values that we got from our grandmothers, Zokbulisa, your neighbor, of being kind and all of that stuff. I feel like that's what we need to teach our fellow Gen X. Those values are kind and we still have them with us. So if we say ababulisani, they don't respect anymore, in front of everybody, I mean, who allows that to happen? If you as a millennium are witnessing like these little 14-year-olds grabbing each other's butts and stuff in public, what do? Do you shy away? Do you confront it? Because I feel like we've also come to a point where we feel like, it's not about us. Whereas our generation, you would never stand with a boy in jail or lovey-dovey, despite whether uyamazi or awumazi loyo muntu loyo, and that person felt ukuthi they had to tell you what they thought. If they felt like you were being disrespectful, they would deal with you right and there. And Mabagwisa Guinea will deal with you just after. They don't even want to hear what happened and whatever. But with us, we witness this. We look at these children and we look the other way. Baya pema, baya, they drink hectically. And we just want to be like, no, we're not involved. It's not about us. And then at the end of the day, we want to blame them and call them names and stuff. I mean, I feel like we are responsible, especially us. Our generation are responsible in ensuring that we engage them and make sure that those values that we've been taught, we, direct it to them. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we all don't know.
Yeah, I think we need to bring in a 2000 into the studio so that they can give us their thoughts on their side. What do they think about us? Do they think like we're being too much, or we shouldn't have an opinion? We must just shut up and let them be.
Let's cut to such a school way,
yeah.
Did you guys my gym dress a short?
Yeah, we did.
See?
Actually, we pulled them up a bit because we're not allowed to go with the short what from your house. But once you are out, you would pull it up and do the things.
You see, this is the same thing that Ama2000 so I don't see a difference.
They're just doing it boldly, I guess.
Yeah, but GenX did it.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're just doing it out there. Tina, we used to hide ourselves. Like, when you were smoking and whatever, you wouldn't be standing on the gate and smoke in front of your neighbor. You wouldn't do that. You'd literally go a parking far away where it'll just be you and you won't be seen by anyone. Whereas with this generation, they're just free to do whatever that they want and you can't tell them anything. I think that's where the breakdown, for me, the frustration comes from, because they are closed out from listening to anything that anybody wants to say about what they're doing. Where else we were open to being guided and told, I feel. So I think that's where the breakdown is for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then. That's it.
Yeah. So guys, I mean, it's been an interesting one. It's been a very, very interesting one. Please, if you have any comments about this, can the older 2000 or anybody that's also engaging in this topic, put your comments on the comment section. Let's talk about this discussion. Let's see. We want to hear from you what you think about. Is there really a social difference between Ama2000 and the Gen X, or we're just experiencing different eras of time? In Niskhat is different, and there's no wrong or right way of doing it. We're just leaving the world as we should. Give us your thoughts and tell us what you think. This is me signing out. We'll see you again in our second episode, The Mindset Shift, this with Tsholofelo Bokako. See you next week. Signing out.